My boss asked me to delete one file. Just one. Not a folder. Not an entire project. One file. It would have taken less than 3 seconds. But if I had clicked delete that day, I would have lost the biggest opportunity in my life. And the strangest part? The file itself didn't matter. I'll explain why. I had worked at the company for almost 3 years. Nothing unusual. We built software for large businesses. The pay was good. The people were friendly. I had recently been promoted. For the first time in my career, I felt like everything was finally going my way. My manager trusted me. Or at least, I thought he did. Because one Tuesday afternoon, everything changed. Just before lunch, my manager walked over to my desk. No small talk, no smile. He placed a sticky note beside my keyboard. One file path, one file name. Then he quietly said, "I need this deleted today." I looked up. "Why?" He paused. "Because I'm asking you to." Then he walked away. That answer stayed in my head for the rest of the afternoon. Deleting files wasn't unusual. Old backups, expired reports, duplicate projects. It happened all the time. But something about this felt different. The file wasn't old. It had been modified less than 20 minutes earlier. Why archive something only to delete it immediately? I opened the folder. There were dozens of documents. Only one had a red label. The one on the sticky note. I moved my mouse over the delete key. Then I stopped. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe this was completely normal. So I decided to ask one more person. That decision changed everything. I walked over to IT. Without mentioning the file, I asked a simple question. Do managers usually ask employees to delete archived files? The technician looked confused. No. That was all he said. Just, no. Suddenly, what felt ordinary didn't feel ordinary anymore. I went back to my desk. The file was still there. I stared at the screen for almost 10 minutes. Finally, I made a decision. I wasn't going to delete it. Not until someone explained why. I locked my computer, went home, and convinced myself I'd probably made a bigger deal out of nothing. I expected an awkward conversation the next morning. Instead, half the executive floor was empty. Nobody explained what was happening. Conference rooms were booked all day. HR kept walking between offices. People whispered in the hallways. Emails stopped. Meetings disappeared from calendars. Around noon, security entered our department. They collected several company laptops, including mine. Nobody said a word. For the first time since joining the company, I genuinely thought I was about to be fired. And an hour later, I received a calendar invitation. No title, just one meeting room. Inside sat 4 people. My manager, the HR director, the company's legal counsel, and the CEO. No one smiled. There was a thick folder on the table. My name was printed on the cover. My heart was racing. I had already accepted that this was the end. Then the CEO asked the strangest question I'd ever heard. Why didn't you delete the file? Not, why did you open it? Not, who told you? Just, why didn't you delete it? I told them the truth. It didn't make sense. I wanted someone to explain why. The room went silent. Then my manager smiled for the first time in 3 years. The CEO closed the folder. Good. I had no idea what he meant. Until he explained. The file had already been backed up in multiple secure locations. Deleting it would have changed absolutely into nothing. It was never about the file. Months earlier, confidential information had leaked from inside the company. Not because someone hacked them, but because employees followed instructions without asking questions. The board realized they had a much bigger problem. People were doing exactly what they were told, even when something felt wrong. So they created an internal integrity test. Different employees received different unusual requests. Delete a file, approve a payment, change a permission, bypass a policy. Each person believed they were the only one. Most completed the task without hesitation. Some asked questions, but still obeyed. Only 2 employees refused to act until they understood why. I was one of them. The meeting wasn't a disciplinary hearing, it was an interview. They were assembling a new internal security and compliance team. People trusted with sensitive systems. People expected to challenge unusual requests, not blindly follow them. My manager had known the answer from the beginning. He just wasn't allowed to tell me. I accepted the position that same week. The raise was nice, the new title was nice, but neither was the biggest reward. The biggest reward was learning something I'll never forget. Most people think trust means always following instructions. Real trust is knowing when to stop. Ask one difficult question, and risk being wrong, because sometimes the smallest decision you'll ever make isn't clicking delete. It's deciding not to.